Becoming a millionaire doesn't actually require a genius brain, a trust fund, or some sketchy crypto coin you bought at 3 a.m. after watching a YouTube ad. Nope, all it takes is one tiny shift. And before you roll your eyes thinking, great, another guru about to sell me a $997 course, hold on. Because this shift costs nothing, works for anyone, and will quietly build you the kind of wealth that makes your future self high-five you in the mirror. By the end of this video, you'll know why 99% of people stay broke, and how the 1% quietly rig the game in their favor with one mindset flip. But first, picture this. Imagine you're at a party. One guy is flexing his rented Lambo story louder than the music, bragging about how he made 6 figures last month. Another guy is standing quietly in the corner, sipping a beer, wearing sneakers that probably came out of a Costco box. Guess which one actually has 7 figures sitting in their investment account? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Wealth is rarely loud. It's usually boring, and the biggest reason most people never build it is because they're focused on looking rich today instead of becoming rich tomorrow. The simple shift I'm about to show you is the exact opposite of what 99% of people are doing, and it's why you'll quietly win while everyone else stays stuck chasing appearances. So what's the shift? It's this. Stop thinking about money as something you trade for stuff, and start thinking of it as something you trade for freedom. That's it. That's the shift. And I know it sounds too simple, like some motivational poster you'd see in a dentist's waiting room. But stick with me, because once you rewire your brain to see money as a tool for freedom instead of flexing, everything changes. But here's the catch. Knowing the shift isn't enough. The real power comes when you start applying it in your everyday life. And that's where things get interesting, because most people are quietly sabotaging themselves without even realizing it. So let's break this down together. Here are 10 ways this one shift transforms you from always broke to quiet millionaire. Point number 1, spending versus investing. Here's where most people completely miss the point of money. They think money is for spending, but millionaires think money is for multiplying. And that tiny difference is the Grand Canyon between broke and wealthy. Let's break it down. Let's say you've got $100 in your pocket. The average person's brain says, cool, that's dinner, drinks, maybe an Uber home. It's gone in a night, forgotten by morning. But the wealthy brain says, cool, that's the seed. Plant it, let it grow, and in a few years, that $100 could be worth $500, $1,000, even more, without you lifting another finger. Here's a quick, painful example. If you had invested just $50 a week into the S&P 500 starting in 2010, by today you'd be sitting on well over $60,000. Meanwhile, if you spent that $50 on Starbucks and DoorDash, congratulations, you now own a collection of empty cups and food wrappers. It's not about skipping lattes forever. It's about realizing that every dollar you spend is either killing your future self or feeding it. So the shift here? Start asking, is this money about looking rich today or building freedom tomorrow? The loud spender goes broke. The quiet investor builds wealth so deep it speaks for itself. Now, I already see people running to the comments saying things like, cool, I'll just invest every dollar and live like a monk. Hold up, because here's the second place people fail. They confuse income with wealth. And that mistake? It's why even people making 6 figures are still broke and stressed out. Point number 2, income versus wealth. Here's the biggest money illusion on earth, thinking income equals wealth. Sorry to break it to you, it doesn't. You can be making 6 figures, posting pay stubs on Instagram for clout, and still be broke because your lifestyle eats every dollar like Pac-Man. I mean, just look at professional athletes. The average NFL player makes $2 million a year. $2 million a year. Yet, according to Sports Illustrated, 78% of them are broke or financially stressed within 5 years of retirement. Why? Because income is the river, but wealth is the dam. If you don't build the dam, the river just floods out and disappears. Meanwhile, let's talk about the guy you don't notice. The UPS driver who invested 20% of every paycheck for 40 years. Yeah, he retires with $4 to $5 million. Quietly. No Lamborghini, no rented mansion for the gram, just silent, boring, life-altering wealth. I mean, look, if you think income makes you rich, then explain why your favorite rapper with a $200,000 chain is begging the IRS for payment plans while your Uncle Gary with the Costco sneakers owns 3 rental properties. The shift here is simple. Stop asking, how much do I make? Start asking, how much do I keep and grow? Because high income without wealth building habits is just a fancy way of saying, congratulations, you've built a hamster wheel made of dollar bills. But here's where it gets even nastier. Even if you do keep your money, most people shove it in a savings account that pays 0.01% interest. Basically, financial hospice care. And that brings us to the next millionaire shift. Point number 3, saving versus growing money. Here's a cold truth nobody told you in high school. Your savings account is not making you rich, it's making your bank rich. And if you've been following me for a while, you already know banks love when you proudly stash money in a savings account. Why? Because they turn around, lend it out at 6 to 20% interest on loans, and toss you back, wait for it, 0.01%. Seriously, that's like giving your friend $100 to hold for you. And he comes back with a penny, smiling like he did you a favor. I mean, here, watch this. Let's say you've got $10,000 sitting in a savings account. At 0.01% interest, in a year, you'll earn $10. Congrats, you can almost buy yourself 2.5 lattes. Meanwhile, inflation's chewing away at your money like termites in a wooden house, costing you hundreds in lost purchasing power. You didn't save, you slowly got robbed. Now compare that with investing. That same $10,000 dropped into the S&P 500 over the past 30 years would have averaged around 10% growth annually. That means your $10,000 doesn't buy lattes. It multiplies like rabbits. You're not just keeping up with inflation, you're body slamming it. Putting your money in a savings account today is like putting your phone in airplane mode and thinking you're upgrading your data plan. Looks safe, but it's useless. Millionaires know the shift. Don't just save, grow. Saving is like treading water. Investing is swimming to shore. One keeps you alive, the other gets you free. Oh, and by the way, if you're someone still on your journey to financial freedom, when you finish watching this video, go back and watch our recent videos on the stealth wealth mindset to start building generational wealth. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But anyways, here's the deal. Even when people finally realize they should invest, they still get trapped in the next big lie. That debt is always bad. And oh boy, that one deserves a whole roast session. Point number 4, bad debt versus good debt. Here's one of the biggest lies society sold you. All debt is bad. Nope. Debt isn't the villain. Stupid debt is. Let's clear this up once and for all. Bad debt is when you finance a lifestyle you can't afford. Credit card swipes for designer shoes, 84-month car loans for a truck that loses half its value before you even find a parking spot, or payday loans that make you broke on steroids. That's bad debt. It bleeds you dry. But good debt? That's the money hack millionaires love. Good debt is using other people's money to buy assets that put cash in your pocket. Put it this way, bad debt makes you look rich while secretly making you poor. Good debt makes you look boring while secretly making you rich. Wealthy people don't fear debt, they weaponize it. They borrow at 4% to make 10%. They buy assets with banks' money while the middle class buys liabilities with their own. The millionaire shift is simple. Don't avoid debt. Learn to use it. Because if you think debt is always evil, congratulations. You're stuck fighting with a pool noodle while millionaires are out here swinging swords. But here's the crazy part. Using good debt only works if you know how to actually control your cash flow. Because if money runs through your hands like water through a spaghetti strainer, even good debt can sink you. And that takes us to the next shift, the one quiet millionaires obsess over. Point number 5, cash flow versus net worth. Here's a question that'll expose most people's money blind spot. Would you rather brag about having $1 million net worth or quietly pocket $10,000 a month in cash flow? Most people would pick the $1 million net worth. Why? Ego. Because net worth looks sexy on paper. It's the number people love to inflate in conversations. Yeah, bro, my house is worth $800,000. My car, $70,000. My watch, $15,000. Cool flex, but here's the psychology trick. Net worth doesn't pay your bills. Cash flow does. The psychology shift here is massive. Most people chase status wealth because it feeds their identity. But millionaires chase freedom wealth because it feeds their life. And here's the kicker. Chasing net worth is like playing a scoreboard game. You're addicted to numbers. Chasing cash flow is like playing a lifestyle game. You're addicted to freedom. So ask yourself, are you building wealth to look rich or to live rich? Because only one of those will let you sleep at night when the economy gets ugly. But here's the funny thing about freedom. It's not just about money coming in. It's also about where your money goes out. And that's where the next shift completely flips the script on how average people think about expenses. Point number 6, liabilities versus assets in disguise. Here's the sneaky problem with money. People love to rebrand liabilities as assets to make themselves feel smart. Oh, my car is an investment. Really? Unless it's a vintage Ferrari locked in a climate-controlled garage, your car is just an overpriced, four-wheeled liability losing value faster than your new iPhone. Oh, my house is my biggest asset. Cute. Until you realize your house eats money every month. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, repairs. Sure, yeah, over time it might appreciate. But right now, that roof leak is not paying you. It's billing you. And here's the psychological trap. We call liabilities investments because it soothes our ego. It makes us feel like we're building wealth when in reality, we're just digging a prettier hole. I like to think of it this way. If your asset doesn't put money in your pocket, it's not an asset. It's a costumed liability pretending to be Batman. The millionaire shift here is brutal but freeing. Assets feed you, liabilities eat you. Stop feeding the monsters. And speaking of monsters, there's one silent killer that eats more wealth than any liability you'll ever own. You don't see it. You don't feel it day to day, but it's draining your future dry. Yep, I'm talking about inflation. Point number 7, beating inflation at its own game. Here's the dirty secret. Inflation is the pickpocket you never see coming. It doesn't run up on you with a ski mask. It quietly drains your wallet while you smile thinking you're saving. Case in point. In 1990, the average movie ticket was $4. Now, try $12 to $15, and that's before you buy popcorn that costs more than a Netflix subscription. Or look at housing. Your parents probably bought a house for $120,000. Today, that same house, $500,000. So while you're proud of your $20 sitting in a savings account, congratulations. Next year, it'll buy you less gas, less food, and definitely not a Netflix password. Thanks for that, Netflix. Put it this way. Keeping cash in a savings account is like putting ice cream in the sun and then bragging you still have ice cream. Give it time. It's soup. Millionaires know this. That's why they put money into assets that outpace inflation. Stocks, real estate, businesses, dividends, anything that grows faster than the government can print money. Even debt. Remember point number 4? The wealthy love locking in low-interest debt during inflation. Why? Because inflation actually makes their debt cheaper over time. Imagine owing the bank $200,000 at 3% interest, while rents and asset prices climb every year. Your debt stays the same, but your income and assets grow. Quiet win. So here's the shift. Don't let inflation eat you alive. Make it your pet. If your money isn't growing, it's shrinking. Period. But even if you beat inflation, there's still one enemy that quietly kills wealth faster than rising prices. And no, it's not Starbucks. It's something far nastier, your own brain. Because the next shift isn't about math, it's about psychology. Point number 8, delayed gratification versus impulse spending. If money had a Tinder bio, impulse spending would swipe right instantly. Because, let's be real, your brain loves that hit of dopamine. Oh, I had a tough day, I deserve this. Translation, I deserve to be broke. Impulse spending is basically financial junk food. Feels good in the moment, but in the long run, you're bloated, broke, and wondering why life sucks. Here, picture 2 of your closest friends. One friend buys the latest iPhone for $1,200 on release day. 2 weeks later, it's sitting in the same cracked case, running TikTok just like the old one. Another friend drops $500 on a shopping spree because it was on sale. Congratulations, you saved $0 by spending $500. Math is dead. Meanwhile, millionaires play the long game. They understand delayed gratification is the cheat code to wealth. They skip flexing today because they know money invested multiplies tomorrow. It's not about living miserably, it's about playing chess, while everyone else is playing hungry hippos with their bank accounts. Impulse spending is like eating your retirement one French fry at a time. You don't feel it now, but in 20 years, you're broke and salty, literally. The millionaire shift? Trade short-term dopamine for long-term freedom. Every dollar you don't waste is a dollar that quietly works for you instead of ghosting you at the checkout line. But let's be real. Sometimes you are disciplined, you do invest, you do save, and then life slaps you with the unexpected, a broken transmission, a hospital bill, a job loss. And that leads us to the ultimate millionaire move, the shift from working for money to making money work for you. Point number 9, active income versus passive income. Here's the final boss of money. Do you work for money, or does money work for you? Most people, they're stuck on the hamster wheel of active income. You clock in, you get paid. You stop working, the money stops too. It's basically financial slavery with slightly better Wi-Fi. Here's the irony. Millionaires aren't rich because they have money. They're rich because their money never sleeps. Every dollar they invest is like an employee, quietly clocking in 24/7, never asking for lunch breaks, never calling in sick. Psychology shift. The broke chase paychecks. The wealthy chase cash flow. Because passive income is freedom. It's the ultimate goal. It means you're no longer chained to a boss, a paycheck, or even your own energy levels. You've built a machine that runs whether you show up or not. Active income says, keep running, hamster. Passive income says, go take a nap, I got this. The millionaire shift here is simple but life-changing. Don't just earn money, own money machines. And that right there is the simple shift. Stop trading money for status. Start trading money for freedom. Stop chasing paychecks. Start building cash flow. The wealthy aren't smarter, luckier, or better than you. They just made this one tiny shift earlier. So here's the bottom line. Becoming a millionaire isn't about winning the lottery, inventing the next iPhone, or being born rich. It's about shifting how you think about money, seeing it as a tool for freedom, not a toy for flexing. Now you've got two choices. You can keep living paycheck to paycheck, flexing fake assets, and wondering why freedom never shows up. Or you can make the shift today, quietly build wealth, and let your money work harder than you ever could. Here's my challenge to you. Comment the word shift below if you're ready to play the money game like a millionaire. And if you want to go even deeper, we'll teach you step by step how the art of quiet money can actually build unstoppable wealth. Just click the video on the screen here, and we'll see you in the next one.